I feel like everyone does something.
No,
it's just not always.
No, fuck that.
Not
People
even
are the
fucking
worst.
close.
People are literally the fucking worst.
Last week on Basement Discourse, that's the show's name, I remembered. We talked about shitty limitations in video games and stuff. Brady bitched about invisible walls. Justin found a way to shoehorn fucking fishing into another episode.
That's because it's shit.
Yeah, that's true. I'm Jace, the gamer guy. That's Brady. I don't know if I'm pointing in the right direction. He's the anime dude. My wrist fell off. That's Justin. He's at the bottom.
Always. For some reason.
Welcome to Basement Discourse.
Wow. I'm so excited to be here also.
Yeah, thank you for the monotone intro. I feel
as he holds back like either a sneeze or a massive yawn. Thanks for coming, guys. Bro, I fucking love this show. It's good to have friends.
No, it isn't. Friends are terrible, but sometimes you need them. And that's what we're talking about today. When you need friends.
That's right.
Like, because Brady has none.
This is true.
Like, he needs them.
But we're not talking about having friends in real life, though. We're talking about virtual friends. So these are people that will like you only for your skills within a certain bounds. So they don't actually have to like you for your personality or deal with you at all in real life.
Sometimes they just need your anime knowledge to add something different to the dynamic. And that's
that's terrible.
That's no. They just need your ability at playing a game well enough that you will, fill that space. So
now,
again, they don't need Brady.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, where'd you get up to in Elden Ring?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have friends, so
yeah, that checks out.
Yeah,
he picked the wrong console. Really, he could have reached out, and a homeboy would have helped him if he was on PC. But
I helped a few of our mates on PS3. Four.
Wow,
on PS3.
There's cubes running around.
Tubes. Wasn't that fucking bad?
It is now. It is now. You go back, son. You go back and you look at anything. You're like, this hurts my head.
Heavy Rain still looks fucking impressive.
Yeah, it does.
True. Yep.
Like, love or hate how that game plays, it still looks
honestly, I love it.
Right.
Not even gonna.
Yeah, so do I. I love Quantic Dream. They're like one of my favorite devs.
Are they the dudes that are doing all those story-driven games still currently in the new consoles?
That's all they've ever done.
Yeah, sick.
Cool. Started with like fucking Omicron and Fahrenheit, and then they did Heavy Rain and shit onwards.
Yeah, Heavy Rain was memorable, but that's not what we're here to talk about today.
No, it is now. Multiplayer Heavy Rain, damn it. We need two dads to let their son get hit by a car.
The Quarry, I've heard the Quarry is exactly that. So you can get together with friends, and it is, I think, somewhat story driven. There's decisions that you need to make in the game. I don't know if it plays out the same as Heavy Rain because I don't know anything about it except that friends can play and your decisions all matter. So
yeah,
like I don't know.
I hear it's similar to. Can't remember what the game was called. It was called something like Dead by Dawn or something like that.
Yeah. They're the other guys that are doing story-driven games. So
I think it might even be the same devs.
Okay.
Did the Quarry. It's not a sort of game that I'm into, but if I remember correctly, it's basically like a horror game set over a set period of time, and depending on choices and stuff, that's how the story evolves. And there's like branching storylines with that.
Yeah.
But adding friends obviously changes that dynamic a bit.
Yeah, because you're all going to have your own opinion inside of that. So that would definitely change shit up a little bit. So that's
definitely.
Interesting.
Definitely.
But
imagine having friends.
Yeah, I've got heaps, so I don't know what you're talking about. Pretty much everyone from a Spanish-speaking country's added me on Facebook recently, so fucking sweet. Nice.
Nailing it over there.
Beautiful.
So you're never going to go over there, but you will play with them online.
I can.
Could do.
So, Justin, you didn't put the topic online.
No.
But you suggested
throw it out there. Yeah.
So it's on you, mate.
Yeah.
Bring it up.
This is solely because I'm playing a cooperative style game at the moment called Deep Rock Galactic. It came to Game Pass not too long ago, and I thought I'd give it a crack. And I think the game's been out since 2018, 2019. So it's not an overly new game, but it has had additions to the game throughout. And it's just a lot of fun. It's very simple. It was only 3 gigabyte downloads. That sort of tells you how big the game itself is going to be. And you actually get to upgrade your character, which is a thing that in a lot of online games, because you're versing other people, you don't get to do. So you get, in Overwatch, you get skins. You don't get things that are going to improve your ability, because then it's going to be an unfair advantage on everyone else at that point. So this game, you actually do get things that will improve your abilities because you're PPE. So you're helping other people achieve goals as well. So, right? So, yeah.
PvE.
Yeah.
PvE. PPE. Wow.
You've been at work too much, mate.
Way too much masquerading.
Yeah.
So, you're working with them for a common goal. So the idea of this game is that you guys get together, you go down, you choose your mission, go down 12,000 feet. You get down.
What do you guys do?
OnlyFans. You go down like 12,000 feet underground, and you've got to mine a certain type of product, whatever it happens to be on the mission. Some of it are like oil-based stuff, so you've got to set up different areas and maintain these runs that go back to your ship. Other ones you're just simply pickaxing stuff off of walls. Other ones you're stealing alien eggs and stuff, and then like they all come out of the walls, and you're gonna like throw down against alien scum. It's good fun, but it's definitely a lot more fun with friends. And this was a perfect example of one that is pretty well balanced across having a group of friends, which makes it obviously a lot more fun because you can talk and have fun. And there's 4 different classes, so if you have a party of 4, you've got the perfect advantage all around, because you've got every capability under the ground. But if you're on your own, they give you a robot as well, and he is quite useful. So you can point him in directions. He can do mining for you. You can do repairs. He can do all of the stuff. He even fights things for you. So you might be pickaxing away, just happily Minecrafting that shit. There's a couple of ants behind you. It'll start shooting it, so it kind of gives you a bit of a heads up. So you're not completely alone. And that's a good example of a well-balanced game, I find, and one that if you don't actually have friends that are playing it, you can find servers very easily. And this is another thing that I find very difficult in some games, is finding a server that, 1, will allow you to join it, and 2, will like be cooperative enough to keep you there, and 3, that it shows you what it's going to be like when you get there. So it tells you the difficulty, it tells you what you might get out of it. It tells you how long they've been playing for. So maybe they've only just started, great, you can join them. But if they're right at the end, you might join right at the finish. I've done it a few times in other games where you join and it's right at the end of the game. You literally load in and it's like end game. And then you got to load back out again. You're like, for fuck's sake. Like, how frustrating is that? So this was a really well-balanced game. But the one that I wanted to point out, which is amazingly, awesomely fun, and it is like my dream as a kid to have had this game come out, but is a pile of shit on your own when you don't have friends, is Sea of Thieves. So that's me talking. You guys talk now.
It's funny that you mention that, though, because I don't own Sea of Thieves. We've discussed this before.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to, but I'm a cheapskate and it's never hit the right price at the right time. So I've always wanted to play it, but that is the thing, is that you need friends to play it, and that is super obvious.
Yeah.
And
they've made the world huge, like open sea, which is awesome, and it's exciting, and there's things to do under the water, and there's little islands you can encounter and stuff. They take a little bit of time to get there. So if you've got a big brig and you've got 4 players all joined together and you're working together as a cohesive team, which is very hard to do when you're not friends with the people you just jumped into a game with.
Cohesive team?
I said cohesive, bitch.
I heard cohesive.
I'm getting excited here because this is.
I'll be
this is my
editing
flow.
it. So if you did say it right,
You're gonna
I'm going to
repeat
then
it 5
insert
times.
my voice straight over the top saying
Sam
it wrong.
slug it.
But yeah, so if you've got a cohesive team, it's great and you'll get to places really quick. But if you're in a one-man ship just cruising, like, one, players can come in and just fuck your shit and you're on your own. So you've got to man a ship and man the guns. If you're really, really good at the game, I will say I have been defeated with a group of my friends by one player on his own in a ship. And I'm like, kudos to you. You deserve all of our loot because that was ridiculous. but any normal player is going to get trounced immediately, and that is just not fun. So
Yeah.
on your own, it's just a pile of crap, and which is really frustrating because it is such a fun game with friends. It is so good. It is like literally every kid's dream. I swear, it's got to have been your dream at some point to want to man a ship with your friends. Like maybe not in real life, but a video game like this has always been somewhere in my childhood. Like
We're a bunch of
fantasy.
geeks sitting around on Zoom. I
Yeah.
don't know about like in real life ship steering. It's fuck. He's got the beard, but like we're not
That's
fucking
it.
sailors.
I get so seasick. I'm terribly seasick. So yeah, no, that's not my thing. But yeah, that like, you know, that is just so much fun with a group of people on the sea, just doing sea shanties and shit and going on adventures, doing party crap. It's great. But when you don't have friends, it's a slow haul. So they're my ups and my downs. So Sea of Thieves, I rate it among one of my favorite games to ever play. But if I'm on my own and I don't have friends, I have not got it installed right now, even though it's on the top 10 of all-time favorite games. Just because.
Was it in your list?
No.
You
it
piece
really,
of shit.
No,
It must be
because,
11 then.
because of that reason. Because like it's up there, but it's only up there if I have friends to play it with. So it's kind of like it's an outlier. So it's definitely one of my favorite games of all time and most memorable on those moments.
So you're
when I have
saying
my
it's
friends.
like my 11 Elden Ring because it's best with friends.
No,
Nah, completely different.
absolutely different. This is a complete outlier, and you're wrong.
Way to be wrong, Brady. Talking about games similar to the first one that you brought up, Deep Rock Galactic. Wait,
Yeah.
yes. I always get that mixed up because there's too many words.
Yeah. I'm like starting
Three
to think like
words?
Space Star
Jace is out.
Galactica and shit. I'm like, no,
Yeah, no.
it's too much.
Borderlands is a good example. Of
Oh
that.
yeah, dope. Yeah, of course.
Borderlands, you hit it up one player, solid experience. You
Yep.
get a lot fleshed out in the storyline.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
have a bunch of mates. Like I have several different crews for different Borderlands games, and it is so much fun just being absolute dickheads with them.
Yep.
It's
Say the
just
story is
fucking
kind of lost when you start playing with like multi people because you start feeling like, well, I shouldn't watch this video because everyone looks like they might have skipped it, so I'm just going to quit and just keep going.
Yeah,
with this.
100%. You lose like all the story, but you gain so much.
You gain so many friends
social
along
fun.
the way.
Yeah.
For fuck's
It's
sake.
not about the cutscenes, it's about the friends you make along the way.
It's not a fucking anime. It's a fucking game. Calm down. That's my job.
Wait, your job's not to calm down? Yeah, no, that
Nope.
actually checks up. Yeah.
It does make sense. Yeah.
It checks out completely.
No,
But
I agree. Borderlands for sure is the perfect example.
Yeah.
If we're going to hit the other angle, though, your
Yep.
Sea of Thieves problem, first one I find is Overwatch and games similar to Overwatch.
Yeah,
Now, you
so
can
you're talking
play
like
them
any competitive game, right? Like anything that's
not
requires
necessarily
a
team effort. Yes.
Yeah.
So stuff like Quake, you can play single player because it is open deathmatch. Team deathmatch, even still, because it's all about fragging, not so much of a problem. You can play that solo. Overwatch, you're doing objective-based tasks as a team, and choosing specific heroes makes very specific choices as to how easy or difficult this is going to be.
So there's a balance sort of thing.
Yeah, and when you
Yeah.
get randoms, it can be a mixed bag. Like sometimes I've queued by myself and I have played some of the best Overwatch in my entire life. Other times I've wanted to put a gun in my mouth and end it right there. Take that, YouTube algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, thank you so much for the long beep I'm going to insert.
Just put like
Finally, I get the long beep. So Overwatch is a mixed bag like that, but I have a whole crew of friends, which I actually met in person last weekend, who I play Overwatch with, and it is infinitely better with them. Regardless of how well we play, we're more cohesive, and it's just more fun. So yeah, always playing with mates is way better.
Yeah.
And another game like that, or it's not like that, but it has the same problem, Dead by Daylight. So Dead by Daylight sort of is on the cusp, right? Because if you play as the killer, it's single player.
Yeah, that
by
makes
yourself.
sense. Yeah,
That's
it doesn't
fine.
matter.
Playing killer solo is fine. But if you're playing survivor by yourself, that's a shit show because you're all working towards a common goal. And if everyone's just on their own page doing their own fucking thing, you are all going to get murdered.
I haven't played it yet, but I would say Evil Dead plays exactly the same way as well.
It's the same style of game,
Yeah.
same as Friday the 13th had a game
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well that was a very similar aspect. I think Evolve was another one.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
remember
I
that
think they're
one.
called isometric something. Either way, whatever.
I know what you mean, though. Yeah, I'm sure that everyone does. If I know, everyone does.
Yeah, absolutely. But all those sorts of games, if you're playing on the side that requires teammates, having friends is going to make that game so much more enjoyable. Whereas playing it solo can be literal hell.
Yes.
Which is kind of fitting for Dead by Daylight, which is all about horror and horror movie tropes.
Yeah, so I suppose it plays true to that, being on your own and being terrified and just going in your own direction. Kind of
and then
makes
getting
sense,
murdered
sort
to
of.
death. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So they've really set out to
Yeah.
do what they were looking to do. Perfect.
Yep,
Well done.
Nailed it.
That's it. No, I don't have much to like chime in with that sort of the online experience and like the fun playing with other people sort of aspect. I've mostly played PvP. But the times I've played attempted cooperative is like weeb shit. No surprise to anyone.
Shock horror.
Yeah. So like the most recent Pokemon games, like Sword and Shield had that thing. I don't know if anyone saw it, where they would make Pokemon like really big, like 20-story building big, and they'd call it a raid battle. And then everyone online would jump in. You'd have like 5 people fight it and try and catch it at once. I found that infuriating beyond words.
Yeah,
and
that
now
literally sounds like Destiny's little. It
Yeah.
had similar things, like it was these limited events where
Yeah, like
a
a
mini
world
boss would show up, and then
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
chimes in and tries to kill
And
it.
they were just terrible, like just bigger versions of something or just more
Yep.
health. And you're like, cool.
Yeah,
Wow, what
Yep.
an event. How
It's the
exciting.
thing I hate the most. And the worst part was often you were going in these raid battles because there was a chance that the thing you were fighting would be like a rarer version of what you could find on your game normally. So often like people would join the fight and then bail out immediately when they noticed it wasn't that thing that they wanted. So
That's
it's
shit.
like super fucking annoying. Like you're in it and you're like, I want this, and 5 people join. Fight starts up, 4 people bail, and you're like, awesome. I'll just get raped then, shall I?
and now you get to long
That's
beat
shit.
yourself.
Yeah. It was not fun. But the new game doesn't look any better. So the new trailer for the next Pokemon game dropped recently, and it has a lot in it. I showed you guys a funny thing that I thought was silly, but it has a lot in it about cooperative play. So they're really trying to push this, I think, because from what I get from the old Pokemon games, right? Like they had an emphasis on trading and battling. They had their story mode, which they knew was limited. There's only so much you can do. So they split the collection between 2 games, which was both infuriating and ingenious from a business perspective, right? So you had to trade to finish your game, technically. And you had to battle if you wanted to have fun with your friends because they were aiming at kids who were competitive little shitheads because that's the age group they were going at. Very smart. The way they're trying to go about it today in the modern online version is really weird and annoying. They're like, play with friends because friends make games fun. And you're like, okay, but what's the advantage? They're like, you can't do it without them. Suck shit. And you're like,
Yeah.
what?
So
Like you literally can't enter some spaces without enough people in your party. And it's like,
so like a dungeon crawl.
yeah, I was about to say that sounds like
That sounds like any
MMO
dungeon.
raid.
Yeah. So they
which
really
is
made it an
fine
MMO.
unless you market it as a Pokemon game and you're like,
Well,
what the
okay.
fuck?
let's give me a brief moment to talk about the shit show that is Pokemon right now. So
Go for it. I'm ready.
I am a fan of Pokemon. Do not get me wrong. I have Raichu tattooed on my leg. Like, dedicated.
Because he's the superior one of the evolutionary line.
He is the superior Pokemon
Yeah,
of all of them.
Big boy.
All of them. But all the same,
It's just a thick Pichu.
but Lieutenant Surge also had an earring in his, so total badass. Anyway, so Pokemon started out as this really cool concept. It's just the story of a JRPG with all its own unique elements that had fleshed out later with the anime and shit like that. Cool. The multiplayer content in there was just basically battling and trading. That was fucking awesome. And the longer these games have gone on, the more they keep adding asinine shit to try and extend the life of these games. And if anything, it makes it so much less appealing. You know how much
agree.
I do not give a shit about catching a shiny?
I was about to throw that exact example.
Yeah.
I do
I
not.
It's
also
so much
don't-
worse now too. So in the most recent editions of games, just to go over the like shiny-esque type things, we have mega evolutions. Some Pokemon are allowed to go beyond their last evolution to a new version, but only for that fight. Then we have the one I mentioned before, which was the giant versions of them. That's called Dynamaxing. They're allowed to Dynamax, get bigger. The new version, I didn't even learn the name because I looked at it and went, fuck, that is dumb. It's essentially crystallizing the Pokemon, and then they get some sort of crystallized version. So like if it's a fire Pokemon, it's like a crystal flame on their head. If it's like one of them had a fucking candelabra. Like, I don't understand. Like, what? They're like, this is the rare one that can crystallize. I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? They're just trying to make their collection state things rarer in the most annoying way.
Yeah, so it looks like they're really starting to go the Call of Duty route. Like, they're not doing like yearly releases and just rehashing the same shit, but the things that they are doing is they're trying to get people hooked on the idea of collectibles, and it's possibly because of the popularity of the Pokemon trading card game at the moment. The whole fucking card unboxing shit's going wild.
Yeah, what the fuck happened there? Because it disappeared for like 5 or 6 years, and then just like
no idea. But all the same, like, I thought the core concept of those games was great up until I think Sun and Moon.
Yeah, I agree.
I think up to there was fine. Like, when, like in X and Y, when you got to sit there and fucking brush your Pikachu's balls after a fight or some shit like
that was annoying.
That's fucking annoying. But like, I can tolerate that sort of shit. But the further it gets on, and then like they start giving you camera things so you can take photos of a fucking Clefairy's anus and all sorts of stuff. Like, I don't care. Just give me a decent storyline, some weird fucking Pokemon, and a cool fucking legendary that I got to work towards, and then a whole bunch of hidden shit. You know what was fucking great about the originals? All the weird hidden shit that was in there.
Yeah.
Like, as far as I know, not since like Sapphire and shit has there been much hidden weird shit. Most of it's just here's your main
I think
story.
they gave up on it when the internet was like, here's how to find all the stuff.
Yeah, but like that doesn't mean you should give up. Like, it just
no,
means
I
do more of
agree.
it.
I'm just saying that's
like Elden
what I
Ring,
think
like,
they
people
did.
still finding shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was actually going to
should
say
just-
like Dark Souls.
Yeah,
like
just do that. Just keep doing what they do. If people enjoyed it, why would you just stop? Because internet.
Yeah, just because some people can find it. So great.
Yeah.
So then those people are able to get it easier, but people who want a bit of a challenge and want a reason to look around.
You know what I think it
got
is?
Nothing. What?
I think it's because they no longer know their demographic.
I was kind of
That's it.
getting
They're
to that.
grasping at straws. Yeah.
It seems like they're still trying to play to the same demographic they were 30 years ago, or like, what is it,
20. Yeah.
20 something years ago.
So so they're aiming at the audience
They were always aiming
age
at.
group that originally started playing it or watching it, but the older crowd who actually have the money and are always buying this shit on release are like, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like, I was it X or Y? I think brought in the like weird fucking beauty pageants and shit for Pokemon.
No, it was the one before that, but it was so optional. Like, you didn't have to touch it.
Yeah, but there was one bit where
Yeah.
it sends you through a tutorial on how to do it, and I'm like, man, I'm just looking for the fucking Pokemon Center. Like, the fuck is this shit? And like, yeah, I just think they've really lost touch, and this next one's gonna be balls. And
I agree. I think their attempt to force multiplayer in the most bizarre way, where they're like, instead of joining together to like do a dungeon raid, which I think would actually be good in Pokemon. Genuinely, I think there could be a lot of fun to be had with that. They're like, no, we'll just get you all together, fight this Pokemon. It's exactly how it always is, but like 5 times the size.
That's shit. Like, I really feel like they could easily make it a dungeon crawler game.
Well, dude,
like, fight several and then
like,
work your way up to a big boss by the end of the dungeon.
That's
That'd
it.
be sick.
That would be a perfect way to catch the legendary. Like,
Yeah.
in all these games, you're supposed to catch this big fucking legendary Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Dude,
in all
I
the
just
games,
heard something in my fucking shed. Like, what the fuck?
I can't wait for you to turn into a vampire right
Oh my
now.
god, dude.
Can't wait for that bat to get you.
I know if it was my wife fucking with me or if it was something large.
maybe it was your wife.
I was about to say both.
Oh shit! Oh, yo,
Oh,
never coming here
Nikki,
again
I
now.
am so sorry. Please don't kill me.
I'm not sorry. Fuck you. Fight me.
Ugh, shit. There's the real long beep of this episode.
Oh, it is someone. Is that you, wifey?
What did I just say?
Nothing, dear.
Wait, never come in here again.
Did you actually need something on? Oh, cool.
This is the weirdest end ever to a Basement Discourse episode.
No,
but we are out of
It's not-
time.
It's not the weirdest end ever because I have something to show you guys that I've kept very hidden. For
You have
some
something
time.
weirder than your wife being like, I'm going to mess with you. And
It's
then,
my dick. No,
That
I'm
is
kidding.
weird. Yeah.
That is
No.
weird.
I got something to show you guys.
We know.
It comes with a bit of a bit of a story. Randomly, a guy who would come to a cafe that I worked at, so I'm a chef, blah blah blah. That he came to the cafe, sort of a weird dude. Just get a coffee. Didn't really ever talk to me. Then he just randomly asked me one day if he could take a photo of one of the people that works for us. And she was kind of young. I'm like, that's definitely not okay. You cannot do that ever. Don't. do
Also,
that."
stop.
Yeah.
Just a small round of applause for Justin there, because he's a discriminative fuck at the best of times, but he knew the line. That's nice. Good on you.
What,
New
like-
A line.
Pedo or
Well, I
That's
have to
not
bleep
beeline.
you. Look, I have to bleep you really often, so I'm just glad you did something.
well, thank you for that. So this old cunt is like
I'm not flipping. YouTube can suck it. That's awesome. Alright.
so he's like,
Alright.
can I get a photo of this young girl? I'm like, absolutely not. Like, not in a million fucking years. Like, not even in 5 years when she's old enough for you to even legally ask her. No. And he's like, oh, okay, well, can I get a photo of you? And I'm like, why? Like, what do you want this for? And he's like, I'm an artist and I paint things. I'm like, you know what? Sure, I don't care what you do with a photo of me. Do whatever you want. I don't care. So he took a photo of me and I forgot about it. 6 months later, I got a different job, totally different side of town, all the rest of it. This dude comes in holding something wrapped up and he's like, I got this for you. And I'm like, oh.
The thumb
Oh, he
in a
sounds like
box.
So
He
first of
sounds
all,
like all
who are
of
you?
Justin's D&D NPCs.
This is the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to me in my life. But it's also like strangely like you would never you would never get this ever. Like I would never ask anyone to do this for me, like because it's just a weird thing to get done for you. But he unveils it, and it's a portrait of me from the photo that he took on that day of me staring into the sun, mind you. So I kind of have this like Asian vibe going on, but I show you guys now.
I'm so scared.
It's me.
It's the amateur magician version of you.
So there you go.
I
Well,
don't hate it though. Like
I don't either, but I also sort of do. Look at the face. Like it kind of looks like me, but then it also doesn't.
it totally
You
looks like
look
you in the
like-
sun. Yeah.
You look like the version of you cleaned up for a Netflix special.
Yeah, it looks like me trying to be Gordon Ramsay on TV or something. Like it's real bizarre. Like even
Oh
down to
my
like I was wearing
God.
a red buttons on the day, and he captured that. It's just bizarre. But so I've had this for like 10 years. Like I'm not going to hang it in the house. That's real weird. But
So
like I don't want to get rid of it because like you don't get rid of this. Like how do you? I
love the
couldn't
logic
throw it
in your
away.
head, by the way. Not going to hang it in the house. My guests could see it
Absolutely
and
not.
think I'm weird.
It's
Put it on the
really
internet
strange.
for the world to see.
Like legit, if you're a king or a god, then yeah, you have painted pictures of yourself. But
So many
paint a
gods
picture of
walking
yourself,
around.
like come on.
fun fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Me, or at least me, I just want it. But I think Beck's cool with it too. We want like one of those old timey like fucking oil paintings of like
Oh yeah,
me in a chair in like a suit and shit, and her standing beside me with like those old fucking like
Yeah.
1800s family portraits.
Yeah,
I totally
that'd be
want that
sick.
shit fucking oil
Yep.
painted for me.
That,
That'd be sick.
that
me
would
the
be
fuck up
kind of
for
cool though, and like portraits in the style of like your D&D characters or you playing D&D with friends. All of that like memorabilia style stuff is really cool. But I didn't ask for this. I didn't expect it. I forgot this guy existed, and then he just turns up at my other job and hands it to me right in the middle of service. So I like unveiled it to the kitchen, and they've all like lost their fucking mind at this
It's
like portrait of me. It's so bizarre. So
I don't
One of those
blame
things.
them, but if there's any basement dwellers out there that want that on a t-shirt, let us know in the comments.
oh my god,
we
that'd be
will
great.
get that done for you if you say so.
There's gonna
At
be
Justin's
one.
expense,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah, awesome. Just my need
Flawless.
for being famous. So anyway, totally unrelated to everything else we do. And if you're
No,
listening
that's
to
fantastic.
just the audio of that, you're gonna be real confused, and you're probably gonna have to go back and watch it on
shit. So-
YouTube. But you
So,
know what?
like sub to our YouTube anyway.
I mean, you should do that anyway, and then you can get the context for what we just talked about for the last 5 minutes. There
and
you
like
go.
all the shit talk we talk about.
That's some hidden DLC there for all you people listening to this audio.
DLC.
DLC, yeah, you gotta pay extra for that shit.
I mean, or you can
Thank
just
you,
pay by
basement
subbing.
dwellers.
Don't end my episode without me.
Yeah,
Thanks,
You do it.
guys.
let the man speak.
And